You're listening to the podcast My Story, My Song with host Nathan Maack. On today's episode, you'll hear Nathan tell you another compelling story about the writer of the song and what inspired the song to be written. You'll also hear a great arrangement of the song by Nathan or one of his friends. And now, let's go to Nathan Maack for today's story.
Bill Newell was a troubled kid back in the early 1900s. Not only was his father concerned as a man, but also as a preacher. One day he wrote a letter to the president of Chicago's Moody Bible Institute asking that his son be allowed to take some schooling there. This would get him the daily Bible teaching and Christian fellowships that he needed to help turn his life around. After a lot of hesitation from the school's president, he finally relented, but only if Bill would go to all his classes, have good behavior, and come by his office every day to chat. So Bill entered the school as a student, and for months he was on his best behavior following all the rules and guidelines at the school. One day, as was his routine, he rushed into the president's office with a smile on his face so big no one could miss it. The president asked him why he was in such a good mood, and his answer was filled with joy. He had become a Christian, and he had become a changed young man. Bill, now known as William R. Newell, went on with his education and in time returned to the Moody Bible Institute as an educator. One day, while walking down the hallway of classrooms, a poem began forming in his mind. He immediately turned into one of the empty rooms and began writing the words down on the back of an envelope. He later said, "As I read what I had written, I realized it was a word picture of what had happened in my life." Well, after finishing the poem, he ran into the head of the music department at Moody, Daniel B. Towner, in the hall. And he asked Towner if he could put music to the words that already meant so much to him. Surprisingly, Towner had come back within an hour and had a tune arranged. "Bill," he said, "I was so taken by the poem you gave me that I went immediately to my studio and composed a tune." He told William, "I feel that it could be the best song that either of us will ever write. Years I spent in vanity and pride, caring not my Lord was crucified, knowing not it was for me he died on Calvary. And oh, the love that drew salvation's plan, oh, the grace that brought it down to man, oh, the mighty gulf that God did span at Calvary. Mercy there was great, and grace was free. Pardon there was multiplied to me. There my burdened soul found liberty at Calvary." Here's the tune to that great hymn of faith, taken from my Reflection CD project I recorded a few years ago. Listen now to At Calvary.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of My Story, My Song with host Nathan Maack. Please remember to subscribe to this podcast on the app you use to hear all of the latest stories and music. And check out Nathan's website at www.nathanmaack.com to keep up with all of Nathan's music ministries, including other web shows, his email newsletter, tour schedule, and much more. Until next time, thank you again for listening to My Story, My Song.